Eczema Phoenix, where we learn how to transform the way we live with eczema. My name is Terry Alabada, and today I'm starting a 4-part series on communication with eczema. And this is a topic that I'm very passionate about. I mean, I'm passionate about anything related with eczema in general, but one thing I tell a lot of people who come to me for advice on eczema or how to speak about it and how to deal with it in their lives is what to say. And I always say that we need to create language around eczema in a way that makes people with eczema feel empowered, and people without eczema have more tools to help and address the eczema in a way that's not awkward but still gets through their concern without seeming preachy and ending up giving a lot of unsolicited advice about a condition they don't have any experience with. And also I should say, I don't know if this is going to be super detectable on camera. I do see that this is, but I have recently experienced a flare-up, and c'est la vie with eczema. Living with eczema, you will, go up and down in life like anything. And I recently came from a 3-week trip to Fiji, which was beautiful, but really hot and humid. I developed a prickly heat rash on my arms and my neck at first, and then about a week ago I came to Wellington, and it's cold and dry here right now because it's autumn in Wellington right now in New Zealand. Started using a heater in my room to stay warm, and that totally dehydrated me, which started this like jawline side face flare-up. It's just really tight and kind of flaky right now, but I'm taking herbs, I'm cleaning up my diet, because I was also eating out a lot this first week in Wellington and had a lot of delicious vegan treats. And even if something's vegan, it could still be full of sugar, oil, and salt and other preservatives. It was a yummy week, and now I am making up for it with my gut, and that's fine. Been through it before, I'll be through it again. In any case, that's what's going on. If you notice anything, also, from my perspective, the camera seems like a lot more forgiving facing me than what I see in the mirror. I do see, I seem fairly even-toned, and I have improved in the past 2 to 3 days that I've really started detoxing. But yeah, this is definitely red. You'll see, yeah, okay, so you can see a difference between that and my natural skin tone, but doesn't seem that harsh on camera right now, which is fine for me, or it's on YouTube and shows more, it's fine too. So just wanted to put that out there. Oh well, here we go again. So in any case, this series in communication with eczema, I want to create language around it. I want to give people with and without eczema tools to speak about it in a way where both people feel heard and acknowledged for their experience, whether having it and witnessing it. It's not the easiest thing to look at. I know there's just some people who just can't help themselves and have to say something. They think they're being helpful. Maybe this video series can help people who mean to be helpful actually come across that way, as opposed to preachy and giving unsolicited advice to somebody who is living with a condition and totally knows what's going on, in terms of the flare-ups. But sometimes there just needs to be a little bit more consideration when approaching the subject with this condition, which is very personal and comes with a lot of baggage and pain and history that the person without eczema may not be aware of at first. In this first video in this series, I want to touch upon communication with family and relatives with people who have eczema. And that's the first connection you make in life, is with our family. We're connected by blood. We see them at reunions, parties, anniversaries, graduations, really unavoidable people. And with family members who don't have experience with eczema, seeing their child or loved one develop it can be pretty traumatizing for everyone involved. It can be very surprising, and if it spreads, it becomes chronic and just kind of travels to different parts of the body, mysteriously for whatever reason. The people you live with can sometimes be the source of a lot of stress if they don't know how to handle it, they don't know how to approach it or support you, or just really listen to you, which you really need but also you as a person with eczema have the responsibility to lay down the groundwork and the boundaries and the framework with which you'd like to speak about it. I'm gonna say, whew, man, growing up with eczema, I did not want to talk about it at all. To be honest, it was just so painful. I was too exhausted to. I just wanted to rest. I just wanted to hide. I just wanted to feel loved and accepted. I wanted to feel normal, but that just wasn't the case. And so I definitely was a jaded child growing up. I was dealing with this condition, and an only child, so I got like all the attention, all the pressure to perform very well in school, in life, and to, I was just honestly somewhat of a trophy daughter to my mom, who liked to show off all my skills and my grades and achievements. She was just super proud. When I developed eczema, it was just something that she became really embarrassed about, and but she's sort of someone who likes to save face, so she would always sort of have some sort of excuse. Oh, she's just like dealing with an allergy, or this and that. But sometimes my mom would feel so down about it that she would implore other people for help, like total strangers. And this was like super annoying, was when she and I would be out grocery shopping or getting something outside, and she would start going to this sob story about how I have eczema, I'm in so much pain, and can you help, or do you know someone, or oh yeah, she's so red and stuff like that. And I'm just like, I don't need a sob story right now. I don't need anyone to play any violins for me. I just need to get strong, and I need someone who can give me real help. I don't need pity. Just give me autonomy, give me freedom, give me tools, give me something that I can do to make progress on this. I already know I have eczema. Don't need a reminder. My eyes work. What else you got? You know what I'm saying? Like, it is so frustrating when people point out the obvious. What else? Know that if you are a family member who has a child or someone in your life that you're related to who has eczema, again, please, we don't need a recount of every time you see our rashes, or just it becomes kind of repetitive over time. It's funny how people don't realize how often they can say the same things to the same people. It's like, yeah, I still have a rash. Yes, I still have eczema. It's still happening. So, like, on one hand, person without eczema, you need to assume that we already know it. So there's just really, truly no need to point it out to us. We point it out to ourselves all the time. When you have eczema, you feel it. It's hot, it's itchy, it's painful, it's dry, it's flaky, it's tight. We feel the eczema all the time. We feel the itchiness all the time. Just know that people with eczema are completely aware that they have eczema. Okay? It's like telling someone with cancer, I can't believe you have cancer still. Still? You're still on chemo? Like, would you say that to someone with cancer? And, like, eczema is not fatal. It's a similar, like, chronic condition situation where this is, like, a part of our lifestyle every day. It affects every part of our lives. We feel it every second of the day that we are awake, and even sometimes at night if we have a night itch. So, come on, like, just be a little bit more compassionate with your words. Be a little bit more thoughtful about if you had this chronic condition that affected you every day. Do you really need reminders every day? Do you? Unless you have short-term memory loss like Drew Barrymore in 50 First Dates, I don't think anyone does. Keep that in mind. Keep also in mind that it's painful. So, and that any amount of stress will aggravate it. So, again, you pointing it out, freaking out, worrying about it, just putting it in our faces all the time is going to aggravate that. Wouldn't you feel stressed out if someone always pointed out a flaw of yours that you can't help at the time? What if someone always pointed out a flaw of yours, like someone thinking being short is a bad thing, and I'm petite, so, no judgment here, but do you really need to hear it every day? Would you enjoy it? Or if you're someone who, you just have to be more thoughtful, like, this is a human being, in this rash, like, I would hope there would be more caring for that person. There are also always a point where a family member will be preachy, especially if they don't have eczema. It is a mistake to think that because you don't have eczema that you actually know more about skin unless you are a dermatologist or someone who has studied and healed eczema before. If you've done that, maybe you have something, of value to say in terms of giving advice on how to deal with eczema. But if you don't have eczema or you don't have experience healing it or studying the skin, it's really annoying to get unsolicited advice. I've gotten so much advice from my mom and other family members like, oh, try this sea salt bath, try this diet, try this supplement, try this medication or whatnot that I read about, but that I haven't actually tried and experienced myself to see whether or not it's actually effective for eczema personally. But here's all of this advice without any experience of having eczema. You should just take my advice. Maybe that'll help you. It's just sort of like a throwaway tip. All these throwaway tips. And I don't know, like, I never get why people, I get that people want to be helpful and that they mean well, but it's just not practical. If you don't have eczema and you haven't experienced the healing of the advice you're giving, why are you giving it? Now, if you know someone else with eczema who's had it, you might want to link the person with eczema who healed from the eczema to the person you know with the eczema, but I wouldn't be the messenger, because if you don't have the experience, the person with eczema will totally be skeptical, rightfully so, because if you have chronic eczema, you've tried so many things from so many people and so many doctors with no avail, because eczema is much deeper than that and just varies from person to person, and everyone has their own methods and things that help them heal, and healing does happen. You should go on Instagram again, mention Instagram, because it's just so awesome, and you see so many examples of people healing from eczema in different ways, on their own, at their pace, with the things that resonate to them, whether it's herbalism, meditation, diet being a big one, etc., etc. So just don't try to be a doctor if you're not. Another thing I had mentioned in a previous video I shared on my Eczema and Love series, which was just before this one, on the family video, Eczema and Love for Family, I did touch upon the idea of sort of unethical way that family can be so freaked out by by the eczema that their child or loved one has, that they somehow need support too. Like, I am so worried about you that I need support. It's interesting to me how family and even my mom be so bad at their own stress management that not only do they project that stress onto the person with eczema, now the person with eczema feels responsible for the stress, or that person says that they are, and so the person with eczema tries to hold back their pain, their needs, and tries to be strong for the other person with no eczema, no condition, nothing they're recovering from. How can you look yourself in the face, parent, guardian, relative, sibling, whoever, and how can you look your face if you are getting so worked up over the person who has eczema that the person with eczema is trying to carry you emotionally? They're trying to hold you both up so that it doesn't, you don't seemingly crumble and fall apart. And it's that person with eczema is dealing with eczema. You gotta be there for them. You're not dealing with anything. If anything, you need to learn some really good stress management skills, meditate, do yoga or something, because you have nothing you are dealing with. So why are you adding another burden to the person with eczema who already has eczema? If you do any research online, which I highly suggest, to just learn more about this condition, you should really be more empathetic and try to be strong. And just be strong for them. Just support them, just love them, accept them, encourage them, try to learn with them about different ways to heal it. Try to find other people with eczema who have healed and connect them with them so that they can have some camaraderie and some trust with a similar experience. But for you to get to the point where you need help too, technically having nothing going on aside from stress, is the person with eczema has eczema and stress. And then if you're so stressed out you need support, you're adding to that stress. and then you're aggravating their eczema and you're making it worse for them. So stop it, get it together, be supportive. Let's just, like get back to a place that makes sense, people. I remember as a child often feeling like the parent because I was the one who I did do that, and I did hold back a lot. I was just really stoic in repressing my feelings and my pain. The eczema spread and it lingered and it deepened in terms of the rashes, in terms of a real physical experience. And so did my resentment at the time of my mom and people in my life who just judged me and pointed out the obvious and gave unsolicited advice. Think about that, people who know people with eczema. Have more compassion. Think about your words. It's like how we can't say retarded now without that being derogatory. Like, you're not going to just call someone a retard. You're going to call them a developmentally disabled person or some other term that is much more empowering and doesn't just put them down. We need to do that for eczema. There needs to be better ways to discuss it. It's really important to do this because your family is who you live with. It's where you come from. It's really important to have strong roots. And if your roots are judging you, you're not going to feel safe at home. You're not going to feel safe in your skin. You're not going to want to talk about it. And a person with eczema really does need to talk about it. As painful as it is, it's really important for people with eczema to have a safe place and safe people to discuss their experiences, to vent, to brainstorm about different ideas that could work, to discuss how their family can help them in different ways, or how to deal with different situations if you're going to go to a reunion, and how your family, your immediate nuclear family, can back you up, support you, defend you, protect you. If your family is not there with you, then, and you don't feel protected, like, it's just very easy to shut down, and it can be easier for the person with eczema to feel suicidal. And I definitely felt that before as a child. I even thought about running away from home. You don't have to. The person you love with eczema doesn't have to. This can be an easier experience. This can be a more empowering experience for everyone. And person with eczema, your role in this, again, is to state your terms. You need to train people to treat you the way that you want, because if you don't have eczema, you don't understand it. It's important for you to state what it's like, what you need from the people around you, and what your boundaries are, and also, like the cutoffs. Like, if you're just feeling in a certain mood, or maybe you develop a certain code word or term or phrase with your family as a signal that, you just don't want to talk about it, or maybe you just want to talk about it, and family members, please respect that. So I hope that this video has been helpful and insightful for you. It's important that we create real communication around eczema. It is possible. Things can get better. Things do always get better. And hopefully with a video like this, and hopefully more like it, there will be more awareness about eczema and how to deal with it, how to live with it, and how to thrive with it. And I'll see you in my next video next week, which will be about communication and eczema with coworkers and classmates. So I'll see you then. In the meantime, be well.